Mm. Welcome back to Crypto Channel. On today's video, I would like to discuss multiple different type of cryptocurrencies, but for sure, firstly, I would like to thank you very much for watching this live stream. And if you are enjoying the content, do not forget to give me at any certain time those thumbs ups down below. And if you're not yet following me on Twitter, do not forget to do so. My name is @ThoroughCrypto, where you will be able to see as well once I'm going live, multiple tweets, and also very important, the videos that I posted today and also before. You will be kept always up to date. So let's get started and let's take a quick look at what we are currently seeing on Ethereum. And right now I have actually opened up the Ethereum compared to Bitcoin chart on the 4-hourly time frame. So the reason why I did so is because we are actually quite we have been in this downtrend. We have seen these lower highs getting created. We have as well seen these lower lows getting formed. And what I think is good to know is that we have seen actually two touch points on top of this descending support. So therefore, this is a confirmed descending support. And if we do right now see a further decline in price action, it is likely that we are going to see a support being found on top of this range. Also, let's place a Fibonacci range. I will be heading towards the daily time frame to place a Fibonacci as correctly as possible from swing low towards swing high. So right here, what we are seeing is that we are actually trading underneath the 0.32 level of Fibonacci at the Ethereum compared to Bitcoin chart, and as well if we hit towards the 4-hourly time frame, you are seeing exactly the same. So this is quite important to me so far, but what I think is quite unfortunate is that we are not seeing any type of pattern, or that we are not seeing any type of possible movement towards the upside taking place, or a breakout occur. So right now, the most important things are actually the levels of resistance on top of us, such as the 0.32 and as well the 0.236. And what I think is actually good to know is where the most amount of volume was actually traded compared to Bitcoin, and that was actually at 0.236. So what I think is absolutely great to see is a trend reversal getting started. A trend reversal will actually get started once we break out above this descending resistance. So you could actually say that we are right now trading inside of a descending parallel channel on the Ethereum chart compared to Bitcoin. So that could be a possibility. Therefore, I would like to place a parallel channel. Just 1 second, guys. So I will be able to place it. There we are. And this parallel channel tool, as you can see right here, is actually showing us, but this is a regression trend, so I'm sorry for that. But what I can clearly see here is for sure that we are actually inside of this channel. We did actually find support on top of this descending support already multiple times, and even more important right here, what you can clearly see is that at the center right here at approximately 0.076 Bitcoin, we will actually be creating a reversal. So if we do see actually further continuation and we break out above the 0.382 Fibonacci, we could expect major movement towards the upside and eventually a breakout taking place, being able to see a support being found on top of the 0.236 and further continuation towards the upside. So this is for sure absolutely important to take a look at on the Ethereum compared to Bitcoin chart. But right now I'm actually wanting to discuss the Ethereum compared to US dollar chart to see what possible price action is going to do within the upcoming hours and what we are actually going to expect right now. So what I think is good to know, if we take a look at the price action right now, is that if we look at the 4-hourly time frame, we have already seen multiple touch points below this descending resistance. Therefore, on Ethereum, this is a confirmed descending resistance line, and if we are going to see a further increase taking place, it is quite likely that we are going to get rejected underneath this range, or perhaps we are going to break out above it and see a further increase in price action, seeing a clear trend reversal getting started. And what is a trend reversal? Well, instead of created lower highs every time, we will be created higher highs ever since this point in time and seeing a further increase in this price action. So that is for sure something we want to see occur on Ethereum. So therefore we want to see a breakout above this certain range. Also, let's take a quick look at what we are seeing right here. And what I think is absolutely important if we head towards the daily time frame is that if we select a fixed range volume profile to see where the most amount of volume has been traded from swing low towards swing high, we can clearly see that at approximately $3,229 we are actually going to see the most amount of volume being traded. So I'm going to leave that right there so you can actually confirm that this horizontal range right here is actually going to be a major level of resistance. So right now the current price action of Ethereum is absolutely important. So this is something you want to monitor very closely. Well, if we zoom in a bit closer, what I think is actually very good to know and absolutely interesting is that we are trading inside of this descending triangle. The reason why is because we have already seen multiple touch points underneath this descending resistance. I wouldn't say this is a confirmed resistance line yet, due to the fact that I would like to see more than 2 touch points underneath it before I would say that this is a confirmed trend line. And also what is good to know right here is that we have seen touch points on top of this horizontal level of support. So therefore this pattern is not yet confirmed, but it could possibly be. So that is for sure something very interesting. And if we do see a breakout occur above this pattern, let's take a quick look if we are looking at the 1 hourly time frame. Well, on the 1 hourly time frame, this pattern is actually already confirmed. We have already seen certain touch points on top and underneath. This was also drawn on the 1 hourly time frame if you ask me. But what I think is absolutely important right here is that if we select the beginning of this horizontal support all the way towards the first touch point underneath this descending resistance, I will be able to see what the price target is going to be if we do, for example, see a breakout occur. So if we're going to see a breakout occur above this descending triangle, it is very likely that we are going to see a possible 7% increase on Ethereum. That is for sure something you do not want to miss out on. And even more important, if we do see an increase above this descending resistance and afterwards a major surge in price action, it is absolutely important to take into consideration that we might get rejected underneath this range due to the fact that we have seen major volume trading on top and underneath this area. So therefore will be a very difficult level to break out above. We could as well see a further rejection taking place once we head in that direction. But what would be a perfect scenario is to see a breakout occur above this range, find support on top and in between the $3,313, so in between these two ranges, and afterwards see further continuation towards the upside. So this is for sure something that you want to take into consideration for the upcoming hours and days, but also for the immediate short term. It is important to know that we haven't yet seen a touch point underneath this descending resistance. So once we head in this direction, it could very likely be that we are going to head straight back down towards another touch point on top of this horizontal level of support underneath us. So staying inside of this pattern is as well a possibility. But what I think is quite good to know is that we are going to see a further 7% breakout or a 7% breakdown occur on the price action of Ethereum. What does concern me is that if we're going to see a breakdown, we could be heading all the way towards the $2,279. So if we zoom out a bit further, unfortunately we are right now on the 4 hourly time frame. Right now it's fine. You can clearly see that at this point in time, so if I would place a horizontal line, you can see that at this point in time exactly, we did actually see support being found in the past. We found support on top of this range previously, and if I just disable this fixed range volume profile I talked previously about, you can see that we have as well seen resistance underneath this range previously. And well, yeah, this is actually quite important to me, because if we do see a further decline right now taking place, it is likely that we are going to hold strong on top of this $2,781 price target. But of course, what I would like to see and preferably see is a major surge in price action and a breakout occur instead. Well, this being said, that is more than enough. I'm going to discuss the EMA ribbon on both the 1 hourly and 4 hourly time frame. What I think is good to know right here is that the EMA ribbon on the 4 hourly time frame is perfectly aligning together with the descending resistance. Therefore, this will be a very difficult level to break out above, and it will be even more difficult due to the fact that if we do see a further increase, we will be seeing this major horizontal level of resistance surfing there as well as a resistance range. So therefore it will be a very difficult price action to break out above. So right now I must say that this could be perhaps, instead of a major move towards the upside, we could as well see a increase and a rejection taking place underneath this descending resistance as it heads straight back down towards the touch point on top of this horizontal support. So this pattern has to be monitored very closely. Also, on the 1 hourly time frame, if we take a look at the EMA ribbon, what we are clearly seeing is that we are right now breaking out above the EMA ribbon. Perhaps we are going to see a further continuation of momentum towards the upside and be able to break out above this descending resistance, head straight back up, and as well see the EMA ribbon become a level of support. This would clearly help us if we want to actually see that further increase above the $3,229 and eventually as well above the $3,313 and seeing a further increase continue. So just to take a look at if this perhaps could be possible, we are going to enable the MACD. So on the MACD, what you can clearly see is that we are actually seeing a continuation of momentum towards the upside taking place. So we already experienced a crossover just several hours ago on the 10th of January at 8 o'clock, and afterwards we did see actually a further increase in price action. We did see a small decline taking place, but right now we are seeing a continuation of this momentum towards the upside. So this could perhaps lead towards a touch point underneath this descending resistance, and even more important, a breakout towards the $3,313. Let's take into consideration as well the 4 hourly time frame. On the 4 hourly time frame, we are actually seeing something similar taking place. We are once more experiencing momentum towards the upside. So right now, I personally think it is quite likely that we are going to experience more momentum towards the upside. But I must say that due to the fact that we already experienced this momentum, I am still very doubtful that we will have enough strength to break out above the $3,229 or even break out above this descending resistance. So therefore, right now, I must say that I do not think that we are going to see enough momentum towards the upside to see a clear movement on Ethereum taking place. So that is for sure something you do want to take into consideration. Also, let's discuss the RSI, but before doing so, I would highly appreciate if you could give me those thumbs ups down below if you're liking the content so far, and even more important, if you could place a comment to see if everything's all right, and also if you want me to, well, take a look at a cryptocurrency of your own choice. Well, this being said, let's get started on the RSI, and what I can see right away is that we were seeing, well, a minor bullish divergence taking place. Therefore, we did see this increase in price action, but unfortunately right now we are actually seeing the opposite taking place. So at this point in time, we did actually see a lower high on the RSI and a lower high on the chart. So we did see actually, in comparison to our previous low, we did see a higher high, and right now in comparison to our previous high, we are seeing a lower high on the chart. So this is a bearish divergence on the 4 hourly time frame, and this is clearly showing us that we might get, well, rejected underneath this descending resistance, which could perhaps retest this range. But as I said previously, it will be very likely that we are going to see a further decline, heading once more towards the touch point on top of this horizontal level of support. What I think is of utmost importance right here is that we are actually quite nearby the dotted line on the lower part. So if we do right now see that further decline towards the touch point on top of this horizontal support, it is likely that we are going to see a further breakdown below the dotted line. So therefore as well, we will be holding strong once more on top of this certain range. So right now, I'm not very concerned about the development. I think it is likely that we're going to see a minor increase, but afterwards see a further decline and still stay inside of this 1 hourly pattern. Lastly, on the 1 hourly time frame, what I think is very important to look at is as well the RSI. On the RSI, we are right now not seeing a bearish divergence. We are not seeing a bullish divergence either. What does concern me is that we are actually above the 50 range. So if we do see a further decline within the upcoming hours, it could be quite a severe decline due to the fact that we still have plenty of space on the RSI to see a further breakdown occur. So that is for sure something you would like to take into consideration. Right now, yes, we are experiencing even more momentum towards the upside. So perhaps we are going to see a potential breakout occur above this descending resistance. But in the immediate short term, I'm still a little bit doubtful that we are going to be able to see enough increase to eventually reach the 3,313 US dollars and see further continuation of momentum towards the upside. So right now, I'm a little bit doubtful about this development, and why we are actually wanting to break out above this certain range is because if we do not see a breakout occur above this area, if we do not see a breakout occur above this range, we will unfortunately see a rejection and once more a decline in price action taking place, and not seeing what we actually want to see, a trend reversal getting started by actually breaking out above this descending resistance and seeing further continuation of momentum towards the upside. So this is what I wanted to show you for sure. And also I would like to take a look at other types of cryptocurrencies. Today I'm going to discuss MATIC, Mana, Cardano, AVAX, Bitcoin, and HBAR. But of course, if you do have any of your personal requests, do not forget to ask those down below. It will actually be highly appreciated, so please do not forget to do so. Secondly, on today's live stream, I'm going to discuss HBAR on the 4-hourly and 1-hourly time frame, starting with the 4-hourly time frame. So if we take a look at the current price action on the 4-hourly time frame, we are actually not seeing anything out of the ordinary. We could perhaps say that we are going to see a W structure getting created due to the fact that we could say this is a neckline, and if we break out above it, we could expect momentum towards the upside taking place. So if we say that this is a W structure on the 4-hourly time frame, it is absolutely high likely that we have to break out above this horizontal level of resistance and afterwards see a major growth, possibly. How big is this growth going to be? Well, by selecting actually the first, support zone underneath us, I will be placing it with a trend line. By selecting this range here all the way towards the first touch point underneath our horizontal level of resistance, we will be able to see our breakout target. So if we are going to right now experience a further continuation of momentum towards the upside on HBAR or Hedera, as you might know it as well, and we break out above this neckline, we will clearly be forming this W structure. And once we see a W structure, it is high likely showing us that we are going to once more experience a momentum towards the upside. And how big is this breakout actually going to be? So if we do see a breakout above the neckline, it will be approximately 7.07% breakout that might occur on HBAR. So this is for sure something you want to take into consideration, because this is a very tradable pattern. And if we see a breakout occur above this neckline, so it could be looking similar to this, finding support on top of the horizontal level of support and afterwards heading straight back up above the $0.28 range, it is likely that we might hold strong on top of this area. So therefore, I personally think that this is quite a good tradable pattern. And if you are right now actually willing to trade this, or you are searching for a trading platform to do so, do not forget that down below in the description, you will be able to earn up to 4,100 USD Tether by using the description down below, by using the link in the description down below. Sorry for that. And this is only for first-time depositors, so that's something you want to take into consideration. If you have already done that, it won't work anymore. So also, let's discuss right away the EMA ribbon on the 4-hourly time frame. So on the 4-hourly time frame, we are clearly seeing that the EMA ribbon is right now serving as a level of resistance. So therefore, it could perhaps mean that we are not going to see further increase in price action. Right now, I'm going to enable the MACD to see if this is the case. And we did actually already experience several hours in a row momentum towards the upside. So therefore, I must say that I think it is quite unlikely that we are going to see this V shape or W structure actually getting formed, due to the fact that we have already experienced momentum towards the upside. And therefore, if we do right now experience even more momentum towards the upside, it is likely that we might get rejected underneath this horizontal level of resistance and see a further decline in price action taking place. The reason why is because we already experienced momentum towards the upside. So if we experience even more momentum towards the upside, it is likely that we are going to see a decline in that momentum taking place, and eventually a crossover occur on the MACD, and once more momentum towards the downside. Well, getting formed. So that's for sure something you want to take into consideration. On the 1 hourly time frame, we are actually seeing the opposite taking place. If I talk about just the EMA ribbon by itself, the EMA ribbon is clearly breaking, we are clearly breaking out above this range, and what I think is quite good at is that it's serving as a level of support. The reason why is that you can clearly see that the 1 hourly candle that we are currently forming is clearly, well, seeing support being found on top of this EMA ribbon range, and we are seeing a further continuation of that momentum towards the upside as well. On the MACD, we are exactly seeing the same. We are seeing a further continuation of momentum towards the upside. So right now on the 1 hourly MACD, what does concern me, as I said previously as well on the 4 hourly MACD, is that if we do see even further continuation of momentum towards the upside, perhaps heading towards the horizontal resistance right on top of us at $0.27, it might perhaps be the case that we will be seeing a momentum decline and as well a further decline in price action, eventually heading towards a crossover and momentum towards the downside getting created. So right now I'm not very positive or not very bullish on this possible 7% breakout outside of this W structure, due to the fact that we do not have enough momentum towards the upside still to see that major growth on Hedera occur above the $28.77. So this is for sure a pattern that I think might perhaps not play itself out, due to the fact that we might get rejected underneath this range and see once more a decline further on Hedera. So, well, this being said, I would like to zoom in a bit closer on the 1 hourly time frame, and what I think is important right here is that we could perhaps as well see a possible pattern taking place. So on the 1 hourly time frame, we could draw as well a descending resistance, and if we place this trend line right here, we could say that this is a ascending support. So therefore we will be actually seeing a symmetrical triangle. Well, this pattern gives me a bit more confidence on the immediate short term, due to the fact that we have already seen multiple touch points below this descending resistance. So if we do right now get rejected underneath this range, we could perhaps find support on top of it down below, on top of this ascending support, and eventually see a breakout occur towards the upside. And what I think is even more important is that if we take this measurement from the previous pattern that we were discussing and head all the way towards the descending resistance first touch point underneath, you can clearly see that this is a more significant breakout that's taking place, and it will be actually an approximate, let's take a quick look, 9.7% breakout that we will actually be seeing. But what is actually a disadvantage of this symmetrical triangle pattern on the 1 hourly time frame is that we are as well going to see a further decline if we do eventually see a breakdown occur underneath this ascending support. So we could be heading all the way towards the 0.23 cents. So that is for sure something you would like to take into consideration. And if we look at the 4 hourly time frame and head further back, you can see that at this point in time we have seen previously, well, this support zone seeing found. So perhaps we are going to see a support right there. What actually does irritate me a lot is that the Fibonacci range is not well placed. I will be placing this on the daily time frame. Just give me a quick second to see how the Fibonacci should be placed. Is from swing low towards swing high on the daily time frame. I prefer to do it on the daily time frame because it's more clear to me. And what I think is good to know is that if we do see a further decline, well, clearly we will be heading towards a touch point on top of the $0.23, a level of support underneath us. So therefore I'm actually convinced that this might become a stronghold if we do see a further decline outside of this pattern on the 1 hourly time frame. If we do see a further increase, what I think is good to know right now that we did see the right Fibonacci being placed is that we will still be trading underneath the 0.618 Fibonacci at $30. So therefore, if we do right now see an increase, what is of utmost importance is to see a breakout occur above the 0.27 cents and find support on top of it, heads further towards the upside, and eventually as well see a clear breakout occur above the EMA ribbon on the 4 hourly time frame. So the EMA ribbon on the 4 hourly time frame is actually a concern to me, and if we do not break out above this range, it could perhaps lead towards a further decline in price action. So that is what I wanted to discuss for sure on Hedera. And right now what I'm going to show you lastly is actually the RSI. So on the RSI, if we look at the immediate short term on the 4-hourly time frame, we are not yet experiencing a bearish divergence. We are not yet either experiencing a bullish divergence. So this price action is actually looking good. But if we do see a further continuation on the RSI and a further increase in the chart, we will be seeing a bearish divergence taking place. The reason why is because we will be seeing actually a lower high on the chart, and we will be seeing, in comparison to this point in time, a higher high on the RSI. So if we do see a further increase on the RSI, we will be heading towards a bearish divergence, and therefore we could expect a further decline in price action on Ethereum. So it doesn't look absolutely marvelous right now, and I do think that we are not going to be able to break out above that 0.27 range that I've discussed previously. Also on the 1-hourly time frame, we are not yet seeing, well, let's take a quick look, any type of bullish nor bearish divergences. What does concern me is that we do not have enough space on top of us to see way further continuation towards the upside, because we are already quite high on the RSI. So therefore right now, as I've said previously during this video, for Hedera, the price action is actually quite likely to see a further decline, heading towards the 0.23 US dollars down below us and breaking outside of this symmetrical triangle on the 1-hourly time frame. So what we are going to expect right now is actually a further decline below this ascending support, and eventually seeing that decline in price action heading towards the 0.23 dollars. So for sure, this is something you would like to monitor closely, but my personal opinion is that we are going to experience further movement towards the downside. If you did enjoy this content right now, and if you are enjoying the entire live stream so far, do not forget to give me a big thumbs up down below. It will be actually highly appreciated. And if you do have any requests, do not forget to place those in the comment section. I will be very happy to, well, discuss the cryptocurrencies of your own choice, so do not forget to do so down below. And otherwise, I still have a few cryptocurrencies that I would like to discuss during this live stream, such as MATIC, Mana, Cardano, AVAX, and Bitcoin. And I would actually like to get started right away by looking at the Cardano price action. So therefore, I'm heading towards Cardano right now. And if anyone still has any questions or requests, do not hesitate to ask those. It will be highly appreciated. So yeah, this is not the Cardano chart that I personally wanted. Perhaps it might be this one. This is not the one either. So it should be here. Well, yeah, there we are. So, well, yesterday we discussed this. Stephen Sainsbury is actually placing a comment down below. Great show. Any thoughts on Polygon, MATIC, and Dash, please? Yes, MATIC will be discussed shortly, and I could discuss Dash as well, so that is not a problem at all. So please hang on, and we will discuss actually the price action of Cardano a little bit shorter, for a shorter period of time, because I think it's interesting, but I discuss the Cardano price action quite often, so discussing other cryptocurrencies might be good as well. So what we are seeing right now is that we have seen already multiple touch points below this descending resistance. What is actually quite insane as well is that we have seen multiple touch points on top of this descending support. And even more important is actually yesterday's price action. So yesterday we did actually see a decline below this descending resistance. I personally thought that we were heading towards the 0.90 cents if we would have seen further continuation below this descending resistance, descending support. But fortunately, we did see a major recovery. Once we reached the $1.06, we saw an increase in Cardano's price action in the exact same 4-hourly candle, and we were able to close on top of this descending support. So we are still inside of this falling wedge pattern, and what I think is absolutely insane is that we only have, well, it's clearly narrowing itself down. So perhaps you are going to experience right now a breakout above this descending resistance, a support being found on top of it, and see afterwards a major increase on Cardano's price action. Why is this increase going to be so extremely extreme? It's because if we do see a breakout occur outside of this falling wedge pattern, the price targets is actually going to be right here, right above us at the beginning of this falling wedge pattern. So once it began this descending resistance, that is actually our breakout target at $1.58. So if we do see a breakout occur above this descending resistance and a further continuation of momentum towards the upside, it is quite likely that we are going to head towards the $1.58. So that is for sure something you have to keep in mind. Well, this being said, I would like to take a look right away at the MACD and as well the EMA ribbon. So the EMA ribbon on the 4-hourly time frame is clearly aligning itself together with this descending resistance. This is something that does concern me because we are also trading underneath this $1.15 horizontal level of resistance. So right now there are 3 different types of resistance aligning themselves together and actually becoming a major level of resistance right where we are currently trading at. So what I think is good to see is that we are actually experiencing momentum towards the upside. Perhaps we are going to see even a further increase of this momentum. And if we actually do see that, we are going to expect a breakout occur and eventually as well momentum towards the upside taking place. And the most important thing for sure is going to be that the EMA ribbon will become a level of support instead of a level of resistance as what we are clearly seeing. So the MACD on the 4-hourly time frame, is actually looking quite good, and I think that is for sure very good to see if we would like to eventually see a breakout outside of this pattern and that major move towards the $1.58 getting started. Also on the 1-hourly time frame, what you're seeing is that we already experienced momentum towards the upside previously, and we are right now seeing a continuation of this momentum. So yeah, as I said as well before priorly on Hedera, what is actually bad about this continuation of momentum towards the upside is that if we do not see right now a further increase taking place, we could very likely get rejected underneath this descending resistance and head straight back down towards the touch point on top of this descending support. And as I said priorly as well during yesterday's live stream, the $1.06 range is for sure going to be a stronghold underneath us, but it depends on how many times we will be actually reaching this range, because at a certain point in time it won't be a level of support anymore and we will be breaking down below this range, heading towards the 90 cents dollar price action on Cardano. Why is this the case? It's because that is certainly the next level of Fibonacci underneath us. So I personally think that if we do not actually see a breakout within the upcoming days above this descending resistance, it is highly likely that we will going to see a further decline towards the $90 range. Lastly, I would like to look at the RSI. What I think is important about the RSI so far is that we are, well, I must say that I'm not good at seeing the chart if the EMA ribbon is placed like that. But if I look at the chart right now, well, we are not seeing any type of bullish nor bearish divergences, but what actually is very visible is that if we do see a further continuation of momentum towards the upside, we will be creating a bearish divergence. So therefore, I'm actually not convinced that we are going to be able to see enough momentum to actually experience a crossover and a breakout outside of this pattern. So right now I'm still doubtful about it, and if we do get rejected underneath this descending resistance, I think it is of utmost importance to hold strong on top of this descending support. Otherwise, further decline is absolutely likely. And what I think is good to know is that we have still plenty of space on the RSI to see a further decline occur. So that is for sure something that is as well not very beneficial. Also on the 4-hourly time frame, what we are seeing is, well, not any type of bullish nor bearish divergences, but if we do see a further increase, we will for sure be seeing a bearish divergence at the 4-hourly time frame. So right now, I must admit that Cardano's price action is more likely to see a further decline, heading towards the $1.06 once more, instead of seeing a further increase and a breakout occur above this descending resistance and a major move towards the $1.58 getting started. So yeah, well, this was what I wanted to discuss on Cardano. I hope you all enjoyed this short but very powerful analysis on what we could perhaps expect on Cardano. But right now I'm going to take a look at what the current MATIC price action is actually going to do within the upcoming hours. And what I've said previously during this live stream, I discussed MATIC as well yesterday, is that MATIC is right now seeing an incredible price action and something I think is absolutely important. Well, if we zoom out a little bit further on the daily time frame, you can clearly see that we are actually holding strong on top of this ascending support on MATIC. So on the MATIC daily time frame compared to the US dollar, we are seeing this major support being found on top of this ascending support zone. As I've said priorly during my videos, is that it is high likely that if we do see a decline taking place, we will be heading actually towards the 23.6 Fibonacci at $1.29. The reason why is because if I select a fixed range volume profile from swing low all the way towards swing high, you can clearly see that at approximately $1.29, we will actually be seeing the most amount of volume being traded. Therefore, I think this will be a very important level of support underneath us if we do eventually see a breakout occur underneath this ascending support and see a further decline in price action. But right now we are actually seeing the opposite taking place, so I will be actually discussing that for sure. But I wanted to let you know that the $1.29 range is the range where we could perhaps be heading to if we do not hold strong on top of this ascending support line. So that is for sure a possibility, heading towards this range right here. Well, let's take a quick look at what we are seeing right now. So the EMA ribbon on the daily time frame was something that did concern me during the past couple of days, especially because we were breaking down below the EMA ribbon and it looked like we had a difficulty on top of this ascending support. But it seemed to me that the ascending support is a major level of support. Both candles on the daily time frame were clearly supported on top of this range. So right now I think this is absolutely an incredible support zone underneath us. And what I think is even more important is that we clearly saw a V-shaped recovery taking place once we reached this area. So right now we are once more re-entering the EMA ribbon on the daily time frame. And if we look at the MACD, what I think is absolutely marvelous is that we did actually experience momentum towards the downside already on the daily time frame, and we are right now clearly seeing a decline taking place. So therefore a crossover is actually likely to occur, and this is something I personally think is very, very good to see, because if we do experience a crossover right now on MATIC, it is high likely that we are going to see that major increase heading towards a new all-time high getting started. So that is something you do not want to forget to monitor very closely right now on MATIC's price action. Also, if we take a look at the 4-hourly time frame, we are actually seeing something very significant as well. We are breaking out above this EMA ribbon. I think this is absolutely something you do want to take into consideration, because we are, if we do see a further increase for sure, we are going to find a support on top of this area, and therefore we could see a further increase in price action. So right now I personally think that the MATIC price action is looking very well, and what I think is good to know is that yeah, we did already experience momentum towards the upside, so it is likely that we are going to start seeing a decline in its momentum. But most importantly right now is that we are actually holding strong above the EMA ribbon. So what we would like to see is actually a new stronghold getting found on top of the range where we are currently trading at, because if we do get rejected still, it is likely that we will see a continuation of the EMA ribbon as a level of resistance. So right now it is crucial to stay on top of the range where we are currently trading at, or perhaps see an even further increase towards a touch point underneath the 61.8 Fibonacci, and afterwards a support being found on top of the EMA ribbon. So these are absolutely things you have to take into consideration. Also, I'm going to take a quick small look at the comment section right now, and I'm seeing as well that Sushi Swap, I assume, it wants to be discussed. Yeah, of course we are going to discuss Sushi Swap and all LRC, so LRC as well. So I'm seeing multiple requests right here. I'm going to do my very best to discuss those as well. So yeah, well, don't forget to just stay tuned, and we will be discussing as much as possible. Also, what else are we seeing on the 1-hourly time frame? We are seeing a continuation of momentum towards the upside, and what I think is good to know here is that we are actually getting supported by the EMA ribbon. So right now I personally am not very doubtful that we are going to be able to break out above the 4-hourly EMA ribbon. The 1-hourly EMA ribbon is clearly already serving as a level of support, and we are as well seeing a continuation of momentum towards the upside. So actually reaching the 61.8 Fibonacci at $2.39 is actually very likely to me for the upcoming hours, and I think this scenario would be absolutely great due to the fact that if we reach this range and we get rejected at that point in time, we will be seeing further increase and growth within the upcoming days. So that is for sure something absolutely important. Also, if we look at the RSI, what I think is good to know, I will be disabling the EMA ribbon, is to see what we are right now experiencing on the chart. So what I think is unfortunate is that we are actually breaking out above this dotted line on the upper part. So if we break out above the dotted line on the upper part on the 1-hourly time frame, it's still not a concern in the immediate short term, but if we do see a further increase above the dotted line, I personally think it will be very likely that we are going to experience a rejection or a decrease in price action due to the fact that we will be very overextended on the RSI, and therefore we have to see a further decline taking place. So right now I think it is likely that we are going to, well, see perhaps a further increase, but get stopped for sure underneath the 61.8 Fibonacci, or perhaps even, well, sooner we might get a rejection already. And one point where I can clearly see that we might see a rejection taking place is actually right above us at $2.27, and the reason why is because our previous high actually got stopped at this point in time exactly. So right now, if we do see a further increase, we might get rejected underneath this range, but it would be even better if we could see a stronghold getting created on top of it, but that is something I personally think is quite unlikely to occur. If we head towards the 4-hourly time frame, let's take a quick look at what we are currently seeing. And what I think is quite important is that we are seeing a bearish divergence taking place. Why are we seeing a bearish divergence? It's because on the chart we are still seeing a lower high, and we are seeing at the exact same point in time right here a higher high on the RSI. So this is for sure a bearish divergence, and this means that we could expect momentum towards the downside taking place. So right now on MATIC, I personally think it is likely that we are going to see a decline, perhaps a minor increase, and afterwards a rejection and a support being found anywhere on top of these ranges. And if I had to choose which range for me personally would be a great range to find support on top, well, that would be for sure on top of the $2.15, due to the fact that if we take a look at the immediate short term, we have been able to see multiple rejections underneath this range, rejections underneath, and right now being able to find support on top of it. So I personally think that this would be a great area to find support on top. And as well, if we look at the EMA ribbon, if we hold strong on top of this area, it is likely that we are going to see a further increase after a couple of hours, and therefore we could still be supported by the EMA ribbon. So that is for sure very important for me right now. And as I said, for all of you who did not watch the beginning of this analysis on MATIC, what I think is absolutely important is that if we do actually not hold strong on top of this ascending support line, this big white ascending support on the daily time frame, right here we have seen multiple touch points on top of it. If we do not hold strong on top of this range and perhaps get actually rejected by the EMA ribbon that we are currently retesting on the 4-hourly time frame, it is quite likely that we are going to see a decline underneath this descending resistance heading towards the $1.29. But if we do actually hold strong and see further continuation within the upcoming hours, heading towards a new all-time high, perhaps even towards the $3.49, is a likely possibility. So therefore, I'm right now very pumped about MATIC's development, and I'm looking forward to see what we are going to expect during the upcoming hours and days. Well, this being said, I really appreciate all the comments down below. I've seen people right here. I'm not sure if Lionel is still online, if he's still watching the live stream. If you are, do not forget to place a comment right now down below. And in the meantime, I'm going to look at actually, let's take a quick look. All LRC. Dash will be discussed lastly if no one else has any further requests. So Loopring, this cryptocurrency is a top rank 61 cryptocurrency, so that is for sure a cryptocurrency that for me personally sounds like an interesting investment as well. The current price is $1.47, and what I think is important is that it has a market cap of $1 billion, so almost 2 actually. So it is actually very important cryptocurrency. And I'm seeing as well that Lionel NG is actually still online, and he would like me to discuss Sushi Swap. It was a little bit earlier, so Jake Mariano, I'm sorry, but I will be leaving Loopring right now for the immediate short term behind, and I'm going to look at Sushi on the chart immediately. So let's take a quick look at Sushi USD and Sushi BTC. Well, give me a second, guys and girls and everyone who's watching. So let's take a quick look. Yes, there we are. That is the Sushi Swap price action compared to the US dollar on the daily time frame. Let's get started by placing actually a Fibonacci retracement. I will be placing that one from let's based extension would be actually better by selecting swing low towards swing high, and afterwards selecting once more its swing low down below. It did not went as I wanted to, but still there we are. So if we look at the chart right now, I think this is actually looking quite well. We have seen a major decline within the past couple of months. You can clearly see that we have been creating these lower highs. We have seen this even lower lows getting formed, and right now I would like to see what the possibilities are so far. So if we take a look at Sushi, just by placing a trend line like this, a descending resistance, you can clearly see that we have been supported underneath this range actually already multiple times. So that is for sure something I think is important, because what we would like to see is actually a trend reversal getting started on Sushi Swap, and therefore we would like to see actually a breakout occur above this descending resistance, and afterwards major movement towards the upside taking place, creating once more, instead of lower lows, higher lows and higher highs. So that is for sure what we would like to see eventually taking place, a breakout above this descending resistance and further movement towards the upside. So that's for sure very important. But let's take a quick look on the 4-hourly time frame and zoom in a bit closer to the current price action. So, well, yeah, right now you could say that we are seeing perhaps, well, yeah, no, I'm not agreeing with that theory. I'm right now just looking if there are any type of possible trading patterns so far, but I must say that I'm not seeing a very tradable pattern right now. Perhaps on the daily we are seeing something more or less, well, yeah. Well, guys, sorry for this. I'm just watching the chart for a small tad. Well, for sure on the 1 hourly we should be able to see a pattern so far. Well, yeah, if we zoom in a bit closer right here, well, you can clearly see that on the 1 hourly time frame we are able to see this right here. This is a minor possibility. We are seeing a descending resistance. We are as well seeing, if we selected right here, a ascending support. So we could say that this is a minor pattern in a very micro time frame, 1 hourly, that we are right now getting created. We are almost actually going to experience as well a breakout or breakdown. And well, yeah, for the actually broader time frames such as the 4 hourly and daily time frame, I personally think that the most important thing for sure is to see a breakout occur above this descending resistance and further continuation towards the upside, because if we do still head towards this direction and get rejected, a further decline is absolutely likely to occur. So that is something you would like to take into consideration. Well, this being said, let's head straight away towards this price action right here, and afterwards I will be discussing a few indicators. So by selecting the swing for well the beginning of this ascending support towards the first touch point underneath this descending resistance, you can see that I measured the possible breakout target. So if we are right now going to see a further increase in its price action, it will be actually a 14.3% increase that will be taking place heading towards the $7.75. So that is for sure an incredible move that we might be seeing. I personally think that this is quite significant for sure, but if we do perhaps get rejected underneath this descending resistance, it is likely that we are going to see a further decline heading all the way towards the $5.56. So both scenarios are possible, and therefore we are going to watch right now at what the indicators are showing us. So on the 1 hourly time frame, if I enable the EMA ribbon, what I think is of utmost importance is that we are right now actually breaking out above the EMA ribbon on the 1 hourly time frame, and that is for sure something interesting to me, because the very first time, last time that we did see a breakout occur above this EMA ribbon, we got immediately rejected. We did not find, well, we found support on top of it for a while. We head straight back up once more towards the touch point underneath this descending resistance, and we saw this major decline. So at that point in time, we were not able to see a clear breakout occur, and right now we are retesting the EMA ribbon once more as a level of resistance. So therefore, what I think is good to know is that we would like to see even further continuation, and eventually as well the EMA ribbon becoming a level of support, while we see as well a breakout occur above this descending resistance and a major 14% move towards the upside getting started. So that is for sure a possibility so far. This being said, I would like to enable as well right away the MACD to see what we are seeing on the momentum indicator. Well, on the momentum indicator, what you are seeing right now is that we already experienced momentum towards the upside. Right now, we are seeing a continuation of that momentum. So far, this is actually looking good. And I personally think that it is likely that we are going to see a further increase in price action. But before getting too wild, I would like to actually enable the RSI to see if this is actually the case. We do still have plenty of space of momentum towards the upside. That is something that I must say does look very good to me. And we are not experiencing any type of, well, bearish divergences so far. So, well, or do we? Yeah, well, no, we are unfortunately experiencing a bearish divergence. I'm sorry for that. We are seeing a slightly higher high on the RSI, and we are for sure seeing a lower high on the chart. So this is clearly something I think is very important, because if we do right now see further increase, it could perhaps be the case that we are going to get rejected underneath this descending resistance, just because we are seeing a bearish divergence on the 1 hourly time frame. But for sure we have to see what is going on the 4 hourly time frame as well to see if this is accurate. So on the 4 hourly time frame, what I think is good to know is that we are not yet seeing any type of bearish nor bullish divergences, and that we still have plenty of space towards the upside before being able to break out above the dotted line on the upper part. So therefore, if we are right now actually going to see a further increase taking place, and that possible 14% move towards the upside getting started, heading towards the price target I discussed priorly at approximately $7.77, well, we still have plenty of space to do so. So I'm actually convinced that if we do have enough momentum and enough increase in price action, we will be actually able to see that major move getting started. And what you're seeing right now is actually very interesting, because if we do break out all the way towards the $7.77, we will be as well breaking out above the 4 hourly EMA ribbon that is perfectly aligned together with this descending resistance. So therefore, it is actually quite an important price action that we are seeing right now in the immediate short term taking place on Sushi Swap so far. So that is something I think absolutely interesting to take a look at and to as well monitor very closely. Well, this being said, let's enable the MACD as well on the 4 hourly time frame. What I think looks quite good right here is that we did already experience minor momentum towards the upside. So therefore, if we are right now going to see a major momentum wave taking place, that is actually highly likely to occur due to the fact that we already experienced just a minor movement towards the upside. So therefore, we have still a possibility to see a major increase in momentum towards the upside, and that breakout occurred towards $7.77. So that is actually something that does look good for me. So right now in the immediate short term, I think you have to monitor this pattern very closely. But if we do see actually a breakout here above this descending resistance, it could perhaps be the case that we are going to see a major move towards the $7.77. I personally would not trade this pattern right now because I am not convinced that it will be a clear breakout, because we are still seeing a bearish divergence on the 1 hourly time frame, and we already experienced momentum towards the upside on both time frames so far. So it doesn't seem to me as a perfect opportunity to right now see a major move towards the upside. But if we do instead see actually a decline taking place, heading towards that level at $5.55, as if I'm correctly, yes, I personally think that that is a way better trading possibility. So if we do right now actually see a breakdown here underneath this ascending support on the 1 hourly time frame, I'm actually convinced that I'm going to enter this trade, due to the fact that if we do decline below this, I personally think that we will actually be in free fall, heading towards that $5.52 range target. But of course, what we are right now willing to see is that further continuation towards the upside, heading towards the $7.77. But the only thing that I'm saying so far is that perhaps we might not be able to see enough momentum towards the upside to actually realize this 14% move towards the upside and head in the correct direction towards a retest underneath this major descending resistance on the 4 hourly time frame. So that is for sure something I wanted to discuss. And for all people who are right now joining and are enjoying content so far, and also for the people who aren't right now joining, do not forget to give me those thumbs ups down below, because it will be actually highly appreciated, and you will be supporting the channel by doing so. So thank you very much already. So just to summarize SushiSwap's price action, what I think is quite important to know is that what we would like to see, if it's now or within the upcoming weeks or within the upcoming months, but eventually what we want to see is a clear breakout here above this descending resistance, and see that major further increase in price action taking place. So that is for sure absolutely important. Well, as I've said priorly, what I wanted to discuss is as well the loop ring, this major 61 rank cryptocurrency. And if we take a quick look at the chart right here on CoinMarketCap, you can see that we have already experienced this incredible growth on this cryptocurrency project. So yeah, let's get started and take a look at what we are currently experiencing on the chart so far. So that is for sure something I think is absolutely interesting to see. So RRC USD, and yeah, why not the Bybit chart, and BTC. Well, just give me a quick second to arrange everything, and let's get started on the loop ring. So yeah, this is unfortunate. This chart is unfortunately useless. Sorry for that. Hopefully you stay tuned, and I will be placing another chart to see if this one works as I would like it to. Yeah, it does work way better. Perfect. So yeah, let's take a look at this price action. Let's get started on the daily time frame, and I would like to actually select firstly a fixed Fibonacci retracement from swing low. I will be selecting it right here all the way towards its swing high at its all-time high at approximately $3.97. And yeah, well, what I would like to say immediately is that what you're seeing right here is that its all-time high was actually at $3.97, and right now you are actually able to purchase this cryptocurrency at $1.47. I do still think that this project has major opportunities in the upcoming months to see further growth, and I do believe that we are going to once more in 2020 see major all-time highs getting created on all cryptocurrencies. But this project certainly is looking very good to me as a buying opportunity. So if you are right now actually not yet invested in the loop ring, and you are wondering, should I do this, or how would I be able to purchase this cryptocurrency, down below in the description you will be able to earn up to 4,100 USD Tether by using the link towards Bybit, where you are able to purchase the majority of all cryptocurrencies, and you will be as well getting rewarded by that major deposit bonus of 4,100 USD Tether. Well, this being said, let's get started on the daily time frame and what we are seeing right now on Loopring. So, well, let's take a quick look right here. So perhaps we are seeing this falling wedge pattern. I must say that this is a drawing on the daily time frame. I like those, but I must admit that I perhaps would like to see this as well on the 4-hourly time frames. Therefore, I'm going to take a quick look if we are as well seeing this actually taking place on the 4-hourly time frame, and we are actually seeing a very similar price action right here, but perhaps the pattern won't be able to get drawn. But I think so far it is still looking good to me, and I will be selecting just 1 second please to see if we are right now actually, well, yeah, we are able to see this falling wedge getting formed. I'm sorry for the accuracy, but let's take a quick look. Well, yeah, we are seeing this major falling wedge. What I think is absolutely important is that we have seen already 3 touch points underneath this descending resistance. Therefore, this is a confirmed descending resistance. Absolutely important to take that into consideration. And also, what I think is good to know is that if we do see a further decline in price action heading towards this descending support, we have as well seen 1, 2, and the 3rd touch point on top of this descending support. So therefore, this is a confirmed pattern that we are clearly seeing on the 4-hourly time frame. And what I think is absolutely interesting is that this is a major pattern that's actually taking place. So therefore, if we are going to see actually a increase and a breakout occur above this descending resistance and a movement towards the upside taking place, this will be an absolute major trading possibility. And also, if you are not into trading crypto, it will still be a major move towards the upside that you do not want to miss out on, especially because if we reach the target right here at $3.60, it will still be a major incredible growth, let's say from this point on, of approximately 120%. So yeah, this is a cryptocurrency that is right now undervalued. That is for sure something I think right now. And yeah, do your personal due diligence before purchasing cryptocurrencies for sure, but right now I'm clearly seeing that this is a crypto with a lot of potential within the upcoming months. So yeah, I personally think that it is looking great so far. Just to take into consideration where the most amount of volume has been traded to see where we will be expecting the most amount of actual resistance underneath us. So therefore, I will be placing this horizontal line right here, and what you can see is that at the $2.05 range we did actually see the most amount of volume traded, and that is as well clearly visible on the chart due to the fact that we have seen several support and resistance underneath and on top of this area. So therefore, if we do see right now a further increase heading towards the $2.05, it is likely that we might get rejected at this point in time, or even better, it would be if we could see a breakout above this area and a stronghold getting found on top of it before heading further towards the upside. So yeah, this is what I wanted to discuss in terms of breakout and levels of support and resistance. Right now, I will be heading towards the 4-hourly time frame, zooming in a bit closer and discussing the EMA ribbon together with the MACD. So the EMA ribbon is currently right on top of us, aligning together, or well, below the 0.618. And what I think is good to know about this right now is that if we do see a further increase in price action, it is not aligned together with this descending resistance. So therefore, if we see a breakout above the EMA ribbon, it could perhaps be the case that we might get supported by it before actually breaking out further above this descending resistance. So the EMA ribbon right now does actually look good to me. And if we enable the MACD, what you can see is that we are right now actually experiencing momentum towards the upside. So that is for sure something I think is quite good to see. What I think is unfortunate is that we already experienced twice momentum towards the upside and a minor crossover, and certainly a minor momentum towards the downside taking place. But right now, I'm not seeing the necessity for Loopring to see that exponential growth to be able to break out above this descending resistance and see that 120% move getting started. The reason why is because we already saw momentum towards the upside, but it hasn't been a significant momentum wave yet. So therefore, if we are right now going to retest the EMA ribbon on the 4-hourly time frame, I think it is likely that we're going to see a further decline and see a support getting found on top of this descending support, and perhaps stay on top of this descending support all the way towards the $1.11 underneath of a 0.786 Fibonacci. Also, if we take a look at the 1-hourly time frame, what we're seeing is actually exactly the same taking place as I said previously. We are right now retesting the EMA ribbon, and what I think is unfortunate is that we haven't seen that major momentum wave towards the upside. We are seeing a continuation of the momentum towards the upside, but I think we would have, or I personally would have preferred to see a major increase in momentum. Right now, the only thing that we are seeing in the immediate short term is actually a stronghold getting found on underneath this level of resistance on top of us. So therefore, I think it is actually quite likely that we are going to see a further decline heading towards the touch point on top of our descending support range, the falling wedge pattern. Well, this being said, I would like to enable right away the RSI, and what I think is quite good to see right here is that on the RSI we are actually at the 50 range. So if we do right now see a further increase, we still have plenty of space towards the upside as well on the RSI, and if we do see a further decline, we still have as well plenty of space on the RSI too. So heading towards the touch point underneath this, on top of this descending support, is actually a possibility, especially if we look at the RSI. Also, let's take a look if we are seeing any type of bullish nor bearish divergences. Well, right now I'm not seeing any type of bearish divergence at all, and we did actually priorly see a bullish divergence. So therefore, I think that is why we are holding strong right now. Why did we saw bullish divergence priorly? Because we were forming a lower low on the chart and a higher low on the RSI. Well, right now we are clearly holding strong on top of this range, but I do not see the necessity to see a further increase in price action within the upcoming hours. And if we head towards the 4-hourly time frame, perhaps there we might see something else. Well, right here we did see as well that bullish divergence taking place that we discussed priorly on the 1-hourly time frame. And what I think is important as well here is that if we do see a further decline, we will be actually quite near the dotted line on the lower part. So therefore, if we do see a further decline, we will be breaking down below the dotted line shortly, and that does mean that we will be for sure able to hold strong on top of this descending support, or perhaps even higher above it. We will be able to create a stronghold before seeing perhaps even more increase in momentum, due to the fact that we broke down below the dotted line on the lower part, and we'll see a further increase in the strength indicator below. So this is what I wanted to say about the loop ring. I really hope you enjoyed this content so far. If you did enjoy this analysis, do not forget to give me a big thumbs up down below. And also, if you are enjoying this live stream and also the multiple live streams I've done this week, please do not forget to mention that in the comments or anywhere. And if you're not yet subscribed, do not forget to do so, because it will be highly appreciated and you will be supporting the channel. So that is absolutely insane, guys. And let's take a quick look at what we are seeing right here on the central end to see what we could perhaps expect within the upcoming hours and days. I will keep this short for all of us, but I wanted to discuss Mana for sure, because I personally think that this coin right now is actually clearly undervalued. And yeah, well, I personally think that we could see right now a support getting found where we are currently trading at, on top of the $2.79. But of course, if we do not hold strong on top of this range, underneath us at $2.50, we are going to see a support being found. The reason why is that if we zoom out a bit further and take a look at prior price action, you can clearly see right here that we traded in between these two ranges for a while. So both ranges are actually important levels of support and resistance. So right now they are actually doing what they should be doing, and that is actually serving as levels of support. So that is for sure absolutely interesting. Well, this being said, let's take a look at what we could perhaps get started, or what we could see on the chart? Well, for sure, this is actually very similar to the looping chart and many other cryptocurrencies at the moment, is that we are underneath this descending resistance with multiple touch points down below. So therefore, what we are expecting right now is actually a breakout here above this descending resistance, and afterwards major movement towards the upside taking place. The reason why is because once we do so, we will be actually creating a trend reversal, and instead of seeing this lower lows and lower highs, we will be actually creating higher lows and higher highs once more. So that is something I personally think is well, absolutely great if we would see that breakout here above this descending resistance and that further continuation of momentum towards the upside. So yeah, that is absolutely something I wanted to discuss right away. And what I think is important as well is to see what we are right now doing in the immediate short term. So yeah, let's discuss the chart right now. So I will be actually disabling this descending resistance just for a while, and I will be placing two new trend lines by selecting its touch points right here at the upper part on top of the previous rejection, and one here as well. We can see that we are actually inside of this falling wedge pattern. Unfortunately, it's not a confirmed descending resistance due to the fact that we have only seen two touch points underneath this descending resistance, but fortunately we are actually seeing three touch points on top of this descending support. So therefore this is a confirmed descending support line, and we would like to see a third touch point actually underneath this descending resistance to see a confirmed falling wedge pattern. So this is perhaps what we could expect within the upcoming days. And what I think is quite good to know is that if we do break out outside of this pattern, we will be heading towards this point in time right here, due to the fact that this is the price target outside of the pattern. So that would be at approximately $3.96. So if we do right now see a further increase occur above this descending resistance and head straight back up, we could be heading towards the $3.96, the breakout target outside of this pattern. So that is for sure absolutely interesting. Also, if we take a look a little bit more closely, what we are seeing is that we are holding strong on top of the $2.80 range, and if we enable the EMA ribbon on the 4-hourly time frame, you can see that we are currently actually trading right below the EMA ribbon, and that this 4-hourly candle right now actually got rejected right underneath the 4-hourly EMA ribbon. So that is for sure something you want to take into consideration, that at 0.6718 at $2.99 we are actually seeing a major stronghold of resistance. So if we do right now see further increase taking place, we have to take into consideration that right here at $2.99 it will be very difficult to actually break out above it and be able to find support on top of it. Perhaps we are going to see an increase, but see afterwards a rejection taking place once we reach this range. Well, this being said, I would like to enable right away the MACD. On the MACD, what you're seeing is that we are experiencing momentum towards the upside, and what I think looks absolutely very good, and why I thought at other cryptocurrencies that they did not look as good as they should, is because they were already experiencing momentum towards the upside. What we are seeing here is actually the opposite taking place. We had experienced priorly momentum towards the downside, and therefore if we do right now see this crossover here, we could be seeing a major move towards the upside getting started. So I'm actually looking forward to this development, and what I think is actually very important as well is that if I take these two arrows, what you're seeing here on the chart is a lower high getting formed, and even more importantly, we are seeing a higher low getting formed on the momentum indicator. So this is a bullish divergence on the MACD, and this is clearly showing us that we could perhaps expect major momentum towards the upside within the upcoming hours. So that is for sure something I wanted to let you know. And if we head towards the RSI, on the RSI, well, we are seeing actually the very similar taking place. We are seeing this lower low on the chart, and we were seeing this higher low on the RSI. Therefore, this is a bullish divergence as well, and I am actually very confident that if we do see right now a third bullish divergence as well on the money flow index, we might perhaps be seeing a major move towards the upside within the upcoming hours. Unfortunately, right here on the money flow index, we are not seeing any type of bullish nor bearish divergence, but we are trading at approximately the 50 range, so therefore further increase is absolutely a possibility. Well, on the 1 hourly time frame, if we take a look at the MACD, on the MACD, what you can see is that we already experienced momentum towards the upside, and we are now seeing a further continuation of that momentum towards the upside, and we are clearly trying to break out above the EMA ribbon on the 1 hourly time frame. So therefore, this is actually looking good to me so far, especially if we see a crossover occur on the 4 hourly MACD and experience that major momentum towards the upside even further. So yeah, right now I'm still looking at the price action and monitoring it very closely, but it does seem to me that we are going to experience for sure a movement towards the upside within the upcoming hours, and it might be possible that we are going to retest the $2.99. But the most important thing is to see what will actually occur once we reach this range, and if we are actually going to see a rejection underneath it, or if we are going to be able to hold strong on top of it and eventually see that major breakout taking place towards the upside, heading towards the $3.96. So that is absolutely well, a few things you would like to look out for. Also, right here on the 4 hourly time frame, 1 hourly time frame, we are not seeing any type of bullish divergences. We are not seeing any type of bearish divergences either. So this does look very good, and what I think is important is that we are actually trading at approximately the 50 range. So therefore, if we do see further increase, we still have plenty of space to do so. But if we do get rejected at where we are currently trading at, we still have as well plenty of space to see a further decline before breaking out outside of either of the dotted lines. So on both scenarios, if we do see a further increase, I think it is likely that we're going to reach the $2.99 and get rejected underneath it. And if we are going to see a decline taking place right now, it is likely that we are going to find a stronghold of support on top of this descending support zone of the falling wedge pattern that we have been seeing on the 4 hourly time frame getting itself formed. So yeah, this is what I wanted to discuss for sure about Mana. And right away, I would like to ask to all of you watching, if you are right now actually wanting to request a cryptocurrency that you personally own, or a cryptocurrency that you are actually wondering, should I buy this cryptocurrency? Well, do not forget that down below in the description, you will be able to place a comment, and I would absolutely look forward to discussing a cryptocurrency together with you. So do not forget to do so right away. And in the meanwhile, I'm actually going to discuss well, for a short while, Bitcoin. Why I'm going to discuss Bitcoin is because I think it is absolutely important and crucial for the overall market to see what the Bitcoin development is doing so far, and also because there are a few things I think are absolutely important. If you have watched yesterday's live stream, some things might seem for you well similar. Yes, that is true, but I want to discuss these things because I think we have to stay right on top of it, because they are very important to me for sure. Well, if we start by looking into the fear and greed index, we can see that right now there is still extreme fear in the market, even while we are holding strong on top of the $40,719 US. And what I think is good to know is that if we look at the entire, well, 1 year, or actually max from 2018, we can see here when the fear and greed index is showing us is once the most amount of fear was actually in the market. So we could clearly see right here from the, well, let's take a quick look. From May 18 all the way towards the 24th of July, we did actually see major fear in the market. Well, right now we are seeing actually the same amount of fear in the markets taking place. And what we all know about this period is that this actually occurred while we were at that in between the $40,000 and $29,000. So once we saw that decline taking place during 2021 in May all the way towards July, we did actually see the most amount of fear as well on the fear and greed index, and it was actually a great buying opportunity because afterwards we did see this exponential growth and a major move of approximately, let's take a quick look, 135% within 113 days. So if we do actually right now hold strong, if this is once more the case, if we are right now seeing once more a perfect buying opportunity for the market, as we have seen on multiple occasions before, once we see this amount of fear, well, it is actually showing us that we could perhaps expect a 133% increase within 115 days. So let's say we are going to see this occur. Let's, hypothetically speaking, say that we are going to see this major increase. So within 113 days. So within 113 days, heading 133% towards the upside, let's say it's right here, would be actually heading towards the $95,000 price target of Bitcoin. So for sure, heading towards $95,000 is something I do not doubt that will occur. But if we do see actually a stronghold getting found on Bitcoin right now, on top of the yellow box, I personally think that it is absolutely high likely that we are going to see within 3 or 4 months a major move towards the upside taking place, and Bitcoin heading towards the $100,000 price target. So that is something I think is absolutely interesting to discuss, and something we all should look at if we are right now willing to purchase cryptocurrencies, because this has been actually quite an effective way to see if right now is the right time to purchase crypto. So that is what I wanted to discuss on the fear and greed. Also, very shortly, what you're seeing here is that the SOPR is actually below the 1 range. So that was showing us that priorly we did actually see a great time to buy on Bitcoin, because the majority of the market actually was, well, holding losses under Bitcoin. And I think this is quite good to know in the immediate short term that we were below the 1 range on the SOPR, meaning that for each dollar that someone spent it on Bitcoin, they were getting less for in return. So yeah, the SOPR looks very good to me still, and I think, yeah, for sure this is actually showing us that we are right now at a great opportunity in the market once more to purchase crypto, and especially Bitcoin and Ethereum. Well, especially Bitcoin for sure. Ethereum, I'm still doubtful about that. Perhaps we're going to see a further decline there, but on Bitcoin for sure, I think we will be holding strong, and that we will eventually see a further increase. Well, what I think right here is absolutely nuts, if we zoom out a little bit closer, is that we are seeing here the stable coin supply ratio. What you could see is actually that the stable coin supply ratio is actually showing us exactly the same as the fear and greed index. Well, the last time we were this low on the stable coin supply ratio, we actually saw that it was a great opportunity to buy Bitcoin, because we were actually trading in between those prices, approximately in between the $40,000 and the $29,000. So this showed us that we were actually at a great point in time to purchase more Bitcoin. Also, prior to that, we did saw actually here well, all-time low at that point in time getting reached on the stablecoin supply ratio, and right here as well on October and September 2020, it was actually an amazing opportunity to purchase Bitcoin at approximately $10,000, and afterwards we did of course see this parabolic increase. And right now we are seeing once again that there are a lot of stable coin, well, holders, and this means that we are seeing actually a similar thing taking place once more as we saw during past year summers in between May and July 2021. So therefore, I'm actually very confident about the market so far, and I think it is high likely that we are going to see all that money once more re-entering the Bitcoin, well, market, re-entering Bitcoin's market cap, and see that, well, price go up once more. So I'm actually very bullish on this trend so far. And also, if we read this small article, what I think is absolutely good to know is that we won't be discussing this right now. I only think everyone should be reading this. I think it's very interesting, and this: a Bitcoin returns to 42k, has bet starts favoring short squeeze higher for BTC. So, well, yeah, this all goes about, well, the very short term, and that Bitcoin is holding strong on top of the $40,000 level. And yeah, well, I think this is a very nice article because it's telling what the possibilities are, or if what the chances could be that we will see a short squeeze actually getting well, forming itself, and therefore we could see actually all those bears getting wrecked and a major increase in price action getting started. And that is exactly what I personally think will be quite logical here, because once we break out above the 46,685 US dollars, if we do see a breakout occur above this descending resistance on the daily time frame outside of this falling wedge pattern, I personally think it will be very likely that we are going to see a major surge and increase in Bitcoin's price action. So therefore, I am actually confident and agreeing with this article on Cointelegraph that we could possibly see a major surge and as well a short squeeze taking place. So I'm sorry guys, that was just a small mistake. Oh well, I had to so for a while, but let's take a quick look at this pattern. So this pattern is what's all about right now on Bitcoin. Well, we are seeing the symmetrical triangle. We have seen multiple touch points below this descending resistance. Actually, what I think amazed me the most is that we got rejected exactly underneath it just a couple of hours ago. So that is for sure something I think is absolutely interesting. What else is good to know is that we did actually see already 2 touch points of support on top of this ascending support. So if we are right now going to see further decline, I would highly appreciate if you could hold strong on top of the $41,230, finding support on top of this ascending support, and eventually seeing a breakout taking place, or perhaps a breakdown taking place. Those are as well the possibilities. So how big is this pattern and how significant is this movement going to be? Well, if we measure this pattern rather quickly and we take a look at this measurement tool, for example, let's say we are going to see a breakout occur on the 13th or the 12th of January during the evening, we could see a major move of approximately 5% taking place. So therefore we could be heading all the way towards the $44,000 once more. And actually, once we break out above this range right here, 1 second please, I personally think that it is highly likely that we are going to see, well, for sure further increase, especially if we take a look at prior data. We can see right away that previously we did actually see resistance underneath, support on top, as well we did see this candles actually getting supported by the price action right there, and we did see as well support being found on top. So for sure important range right here, but this is unfortunately not the right one. Sorry, right here I meant we are seeing actually support, resistance, major support, major resistance. So it is a very important pattern. So if we head straight back, what you can see is that both scenarios are actually very important. And if we do break out above this $43,516, I personally think it is quite likely that we are going to see a further increase towards the upside on Bitcoin for sure within the upcoming days. So if we do not see this occur and we do instead see a breakdown occur, it is likely that we are going to head towards the $3,943 US dollars. And what I think is good to know is that if we are actually going to see this decline, I would like to see once more a touch point being found on top of this descending support zone, or perhaps a support being found on top of the $37,591 US dollars, due to the fact that I think this will be a major level of support. But for sure, I would rather see that increase I discussed previously than a further decline in Bitcoin's price action. So that is something I wanted to show you for sure. And right now I will be enabling the EMA ribbon. What you can clearly see is that the EMA ribbon is right now being retested. We got rejected by it. Once we retested this descending resistance, we are right now seeing further decline in price action. And what I think is important is that we want to eventually see that breakout occur outside of this pattern or above the EMA ribbon, because otherwise a further decline is absolutely likely to occur. So right now, actually looking at this Bitcoin price action is absolutely important for not just Bitcoin but the overall market. So that is something I think is absolutely good to know. Also, if we look in a bit further and we enable the MACD, what you're seeing on the 4-hourly time frame is that we actually experienced already momentum towards the upside. And what it's showing me is that we are heading towards a possible crossover if we do see a further decline in price action. Therefore, we could expect momentum towards the downside taking place. And if we do see this scenario playing itself out, it is absolutely likely that we are going to break down below the $40,719 US dollars and head back down towards the touch point once more on top of our descending support, and eventually see a stronghold getting created anywhere inside of the, well, yellow box, because we would like to stay inside of the yellow box. As I've said during previous live streams as well, I think we will still be very bullish once we stay on top of the yellow box, but if we do break below it, I will be a bit more doubtful, but still be fine. But once we reach the second yellow box, I will be for sure a bit more bearish. But right now, if we do hold strong on top of these ranges, on top of the yellow box, I am actually absolutely bullish, and I think that we will be wrecking the market within the upcoming 4 months if we do eventually see a stronghold getting found on top of this area. So what else are we seeing on the 1 hourly time frame? On the 1 hourly time frame, we did actually experience a breakout occur above the EMA ribbon on the 1 hourly time frame. Unfortunately, we got rejected by the descending resistance, and right now we are once more experiencing resistance underneath the EMA ribbon on the 1 hourly time frame. What I think is actually concerning to me is that once we see this occur, for example, in the past, once we saw a minor breakout above the EMA ribbon and afterwards a breakdown underneath it, you have to see major momentum towards the upside. Otherwise, it is likely that we are going to see a further decline taking place. So right now, I must say that monitoring this price action is something I will be personally doing a lot, and I think it is something we all should be doing if we want to, well, see what the overall market could perhaps be doing. What I think is interesting right here on the MACD is that we already saw a crossover occur, so therefore it could be possible that if we do find a stronghold on top of this ascending support, we see a decline in its momentum and a crossover taking place, and therefore see once more an increase in Bitcoin's price action, and as well on the 4 hourly time frame a continuation of momentum towards the upside. So that is for sure absolutely important. And lastly, on the daily time frame, what I think is good to know is that we already experienced momentum towards the downside, and therefore we could see a further increase. Well, if we do see actually a further increase, that is what I wanted to say. If we do see actually a further increase in momentum towards the upside, we will eventually see as well a crossover taking place and momentum as well towards the upside on the daily time frame. So therefore, we could expect major movement towards the $67,000 taking place for sure. Also, what I think is important right here is that we are seeing a bullish divergence on the MACD. On the daily time frame, we are seeing this lower low on the chart, and we are seeing clearly this higher low on the MACD. So therefore, this is a bullish divergence on the daily time frame, and I think this is absolutely helping us hold strong on top of the range where we are currently trading at. So absolutely right now, I'm bullish on the daily time frame, and I'm a bit more bearish on the 4 hourly time frame, but I still think it is possible that we are going to see a continuation of this momentum towards the upside. So still, I'm not very doubtful, but I'm monitoring this pattern for sure closely to see what the possible price action of Bitcoin is going to be. Also, let's take a quick look at the RSI on all 3 time frames: 1 hourly, 4 hourly, and daily. And what we are clearly seeing here on the 4 hourly time frame, I'm sorry for that, I just had to see a sneak peek on the chart. But what you're seeing here is that we did actually saw a breakout above this prior high, and what you could see is that we were actually creating a higher high on the RSI and a lower high on the chart. So therefore, we did actually experience this further decline and the rejection underneath this descending resistance. I think that is actually quite logical to me, because we were seeing this bearish divergence. But right now, it is actually still looking good to me, especially because we are below the 50 range. So if we do see a further decline, I'm not concerned that we are going to break down below the descending support range. So if we are going to see a further decline, I personally think it is likely that we are going to hold strong on top of this descending support. And if we eventually as well see afterwards a movement towards the upside taking place, it is likely that we are going to still have enough space on the 4-hourly RSI to see further continuation towards the upside. Also, if we do just hold strong on top of this ascending support on the 1-hourly time frame, well, right there we are not seeing any type of bullish nor bearish divergences. What I think is good to know is that we are seeing a clear decline on the strength, so therefore we are nearby the dotted line, and if we do see an even further decline, it will be quite likely that we are going to create a stronghold, perhaps not on top of the ascending support, but if we decline even further, I think it is likely that we are going to find a stronghold on the RSI as well. So that is something you should monitor closely, and I think personally that it could go either way outside of this pattern, as I said previously, but I would prefer to see that major leg towards the upside, breaking eventually out above the 43,516, sorry, US dollars, a major level of resistance above us. But if we do hold strong on top of this range, I'm confident that we could perhaps see a further increase taking place. So that is for sure something I'm looking forward to. Also, lastly, on the daily time frame, what I think is important right here is that we are actually breaking down below the dotted line. So therefore, I'm actually very bullish on this trend so far. And even more important is that if we take a look, for example, at this point in time, we are even seeing a bullish divergence taking place. Why is the reason? It's because we are seeing a higher low getting formed and a lower low in comparison on the chart. So actually right now, I'm absolutely bullish on Bitcoin, and the RSI on the daily time frame is for sure showing us as one of the other indicators that it is a clear buying opportunity right now. So as I've said previously, during the multiple metrics that we spoke and the macro metrics that we discussed, such as the crypto quant stablecoin supply ratio, as well the fear and greed index, and we discussed also the SOPR on CoinGlass, those are all showing us that right now is actually a great opportunity to buy Bitcoin. And as I've said to you previously, the most important thing is right now in the immediate short term is to hold strong on top of this yellow box. Otherwise, if we do see a further decline underneath it, I might have to reanalyze the market and see what we could perhaps expect within the upcoming days and months. But right now, if we are holding strong on top of this area, and especially if we do see a breakout occur above this descending resistance, I personally think that we will be seeing within the upcoming 4 months for sure a major move towards the upside taking place, and heading towards the $95,000 for sure, very possible. So that is something I wanted to discuss right away. Also, right now I would like to ask to all of you who are watching, if you have any questions to me personally, if you would like me to take a look at a cryptocurrency that you are personally owning, do not forget that down below in the description you will be able to so in the comment section you will be able to post all your requests, and I will be looking forward to look into those cryptocurrencies. Meanwhile, I'm going to say that if you are not yet, follow me on Twitter. It will be actually highly appreciated if you would do so. Down below in the description underneath social and info, you will be able to follow me on Twitter at Thorough Crypto. Right there you will be able to kept up to date about all upcoming live streams, and as well what I think is absolutely important is that I will be placing multiple tweets and also all upcoming videos on my YouTube channel. So do not forget to join me on Twitter at Thorough Crypto, where you will be kept up to date about all upcoming development on this channel. So that is for sure something you do not want to miss out on. If no one has any type of requests right now, I will be selecting a cryptocurrency of my own, and that would be actually AVAX, so Avalanche. So please let me know if someone wants me to discuss anything else. Otherwise, I will be actually looking into the AVAX price action. So yeah, AVAX price action, I think for sure for all of us, absolutely very interesting. Why is it the case? Because if we are looking right now at this chart on the daily time frame, we are just seeing this absolutely insane pattern taking place. We are seeing this multiple touch points underneath this descending resistance, and we are seeing as well multiple touch points on top of this ascending support, meaning that we are actually seeing a confirmed pattern taking place. And what I think is absolutely very important about this is that we could perhaps see a major leg towards the upside getting created, or perhaps as well towards the downside, due to the fact that this is a symmetrical triangle. It could break out either towards the upside or towards the downside. But if we look at the price target or the price estimate, is going to be absolutely absurd if you ask me. If we do see, for example, a breakout occur on the 2nd of February, it could be very likely that we are going to see a major increase in FX price action heading towards the 57% increase, heading towards the 163 US dollars. So this is absolutely nuts, guys, and I personally think that it is an opportunity that you do not want to miss out on. And also, if we do see a further decline, it is absolutely insane, because we will be heading below the 50 range of Fibonacci. Of course, I do personally think that that is quite unlikely to occur, especially because if we look at prior price action on FX, we did actually see a major resistance underneath the 0.786 range at 71 US dollars. So if we do right now see a further decline, I'm not sure if we will actually be breaking down below this range, but if we do so, heading towards the 50 area is of course a possibility, and that would still be a major move towards the downside that will be taking place. So that is absolutely what I wanted to show you. And also, right now, purchasing this cryptocurrency seems to me as a perfect buying opportunity if we do actually hold strong on top of this ascending support. So yeah, of course, you have to do your own due diligence, but if you do not have a platform to actually trade on or to purchase cryptocurrencies, do not forget that down below in the description, you will be able to earn up to 4,100 USD Tether deposit bonus on Bybit if you are using the link down below. So there you will be able to purchase AVAX, many other cryptocurrencies. They actually have a lot you can choose from. So I personally have never not been able to purchase something I wanted, but of course, if you are searching for something very rare, you might not be able to do so, but I have always been able to purchase what I wanted to purchase on Bybit. So this being said, let's discuss what the possible scenarios are and how it currently looks like on the daily and 4-hourly time frame. So on the daily time frame, what I think is unfortunate is that we are breaking down below the EMA ribbon. So therefore, it is likely that we might perhaps see a further decline taking place, because if we do see a crossover occur on the EMA ribbon and not a further increase within the upcoming hours, it might perhaps be the case that the EMA ribbon will become a level of resistance on top of us. And that is actually, if we look at the trend, something that is quite likely to occur. Why? Because we already saw this major level of support for a very long period of time. It started in the 14th of August of 2021, and it's still serving as a level of support all the way until the 4th of January 2022. So seeing a crossover on the EMA ribbon on AVAX might perhaps be a very likable option. So perhaps if this does occur, I will be a bit more bearish and thinking the 50 range will perhaps for sure get reached if we do see this occur. So this is something you would like to monitor for sure very closely. Also, if we take a look at the MACD, we are actually seeing the opposite. We are, instead of seeing a major possible decline, we did already experience decline in momentum, and we are seeing a for sure decline in its momentum towards the downside. So what is this showing us? Well, this is showing us that if we do right now see actually a further increase in its price action, we could perhaps be heading towards a crossover on the daily time frame, and therefore see a further continuation and that major almost 60% move getting formed towards the upside, seeing a breakout occur outside of this pattern on the daily time frame. But of course, if we do not hold strong on top of this ascending support, we could perhaps just see a further continuation of momentum towards the downside, heading towards that $50 range right underneath us. So those are the options right now. Also, if we look lastly at the RSI, what I wanted to say, RSI, I think that is actually a very important indicator. So what else are we seeing right now? Well, I enabled, not on purpose, but I enabled the triple moving averages. We are seeing the thin green line being the 50-day moving average, the yellow line being the 100-day moving average, and the red line being the 200-day moving average. So if we do right now look closely, we are seeing that the candles are getting rejected by the 100-day moving average. We have to break out above this range and also above the 0.618 at $87 to see further continuation towards the upside. Otherwise, it is likely that we are not going to hold strong and see a further decline heading towards the $50 range. But as I've said previously, the 0.786 range at $71.31 is a major level of support. So perhaps we might be able to find a support zone right here, especially because we are as well seeing that the red line, the 200-day moving average, is actually aligning together with this range. So if we do right now see a further decline heading towards this direction, it could be possible that we are going to hold strong on top of it. So that is for sure something you want to take into consideration. Something that does look very good to me right now is actually the chart. So on the chart, we are seeing a higher low and a lower low on the RSI, meaning that we are experiencing a bullish divergence. This could perhaps be the most important thing that we have seen so far, especially because we are already quite far below on the RSI. So a further decline heading towards the 50 range seems to be a bit too much. If we do right now see a decline on the daily time frame, I personally think that the $71 range will for sure become a stronghold for the immediate short term. But what I think is good to know is that once we reach this range, we will be breaking down below the dotted line. So therefore, we could expect momentum towards the upside taking place afterwards. So if we reach this range and hold strong on top of it, a further continuation might be possible. But what is good to know is that if we do not hold strong, if we hold strong right now where we are currently trading at, we are seeing that bullish divergence I explained to you priorly, but we could see that major move towards the upside taking place. So that is actually something I think looks very healthy. So for me right now, this chart could go either way towards the $71 cents or seeing that major increase in price action and that potential 57% move getting formed. But both scenarios are still very possible to occur. So this being said, I would like to head towards the 4-hourly time frame. On the 4-hourly time frame, we are not seeing any type of bullish nor bearish divergences. What I think is good to know is that if we do see a further decline below the ascending support, it is likely that we are going to see that support getting found, especially because we are as well seeing right here that the RSI is nearby the dotted line on the lower part. So therefore, a support being found on top of the $71.31 is for me absolutely, well, I just personally think that that is of course going to occur if we do see a further decline in the immediate short term, and afterwards we could perhaps expect further decline towards the $50 range. But right now, if we do see a breakdown in the immediate short term, the $71 range will for sure be a stronghold underneath us. Also, if we do right now see actually a further increase in price action taking place, it is likely that we still have plenty of space on the RSI, because it is true. And also, it is very good to know this, because if we do see that further increase, this will be very helpful to eventually see that breakout occur above this descending resistance and see further continuation towards the upside taking place afterwards. So that is absolutely something very interesting to me. Also, I would like to take a look at the EMA ribbon. The EMA ribbon is currently serving as a level of resistance, exactly where we are currently trading at. So we have to be well, breaking out above this range and holding strong on top of this ascending support. Otherwise, it is likely that we will be heading towards a further decline. And as I've said priorly, it would be devastating for the trend due to the fact that we might be perhaps heading all the way towards the 50 range of, the one range of Fibonacci at approximately $50.74, especially because if we look at the daily time frame, we are going to see as well the daily EMA ribbon becoming a level of resistance, and those are major levels of resistance. So therefore, it will be difficult to break out above it, and we could see a further decline heading in this direction. So that is absolutely something I want to make you aware of. On the 4-hourly time frame, lastly, I would like to take a look at the MACD, and what we're seeing on the MACD is actually something quite unfortunate. We did already experience momentum towards the upside. We are right now seeing a momentum decline and as well the EMA ribbon as a level of resistance. So therefore, I'm right now a bit doubtful that we are going to be able to hold strong on top of this ascending support. So that will be actually quite unfortunate for the major pattern that we were creating on the daily time frame on AVAX, due to the fact that this was a major possible 55% breakout or breakdown. And if we do right now not hold strong on top of this range, we could perhaps be seeing a further decline for sure towards the $50 range, a possible decline of approximately 40.6%. So that is absolutely something that I do not hold any AVAX, but I must say that if we reach these ranges, I will be purchasing for sure, due to the fact that after such a downtrend and at such cheap prices, I think it will be a great buying opportunity. But I wanted to see actually this pattern to stay in between these two ranges and see a possible breakout occur, because I was already quite ready to place a long trade position once we were breaking out above this descending resistance and seeing a further continuation towards the upside. So, well, right now on today's live stream, I really hope you enjoyed the content so far. I must say that I did enjoy being live once more. I really hope you pressed those thumbs ups down below, but unfortunately today I will have to go. I already did quite a few analysis, so I really hope you all enjoy the content, and I will be back on, not tomorrow, but I will be back on Thursday to see a live stream once more. Tomorrow I will be updating videos, but there won't be any type of live stream tomorrow, so that is quite unfortunate. So I'm looking forward to see you on Tuesday, and I hope you will be there once more. So thank you very much for watching this live stream, and if you enjoy, do not forget to smash up those likes down below. Thank you very much, guys, and have a nice day.